no shot. So, I'm trying to make a glass skateboard. I have no idea what I'm doing. Never worked with glass before, but we're gonna try it. I have this really cool idea where I saw a TikTok of a girl here, or at least the screenshots. She had these glass countertops, which was used of recycled glass layered on top of each other and melted together. And I thought, wouldn't it be really cool if I could do a glass skateboard? So, that's what we're gonna try and do. But first step, I'm gonna need a lot of glass. So I started by putting a bunch of glass that I had lying around the house into soapy hot water. And you could see I used a lot of drinking bottles. And I also used some Topo Chico and some more, and some more, and some more. Oh, and some more. And one more. After I let it set in the hot water for a good amount of time, I was able to then remove all of the stickers. Okay, so now all the glass is washed and ready for smashing. But first, I need to make a mold that the glass can melt in. So here's the idea. We're gonna go to a skate shop and see if they can give me any old boards, buy for dirt cheap. Then we're gonna go to Home Depot and get plaster, wood, mold release, so that we can use the old board, set it in the plaster, let it cure, take the board out, and now I have a plaster mold. Now the reason I need to use plaster is because I'm going to be melting the glass in the mold. My concern with using any other material like wood or silicone, I need to be able to blow torch it. It needs to be able to withstand high heat so that I can melt the glass within the mold and then be able to take that out. So that is the plan. Get a board, go to Home Depot, hopefully get all the materials to make that mold before we can start smashing the glass. I also want to clarify that I have no idea what I'm doing, so I really want to take you along on this journey and hopefully we can figure it out together. I think it'll work. I mean, I'm confident it will, and if not, we tried. So we tried to go to a skate shop. Their cheapest board's like $100. So we're gonna try Goodwill because it's right here, and then the swap meet. And the reason we didn't do those first is because we just weren't sure if they were gonna have anything, and we'd rather be we know for sure that this one place has boards, but we'll try it. We're gonna see. Okay, so good news. The guy who was at the skate shop was like, hey, I have a used board actually. He followed us on his board, was like, hey, I'll give you a used one. We're gonna go get cash and see if this works. We got a board, used board. I really didn't want to risk going to the swap meet and not finding anything, so we lucked out. Beautiful. It's mold time. So first I started by measuring the board. I already had the length and width, so I knew what I needed to get. But now you can see me, I'm measuring the height to see how deep I need to make the mold. I then cut out the wood. This wood has a sheen finish, and I knew that it wouldn't stick to the plaster. So you can see me cutting it out. And then once I had all my pieces cut out to the right size, I glued them together with some wood glue. The mold for the mold is drying. While I wait for that, since the deck has been grip taped, I'm going to tape it up so that it's easier to take out of the plaster mold. The mold is made for the most part. I'm gonna caulk it so that there is no spillage on the outside, so that when we put the plaster in, nothing is leaking out. Learned that second year. Shout out to Don Klomper. Also, this is the setup. Reuse. Alright, welcome to day 2. I'm gonna pour the plaster. Basically, I'm just trying to find the bare minimum of how much I need so that I don't make too little. I then proceed to find the entire volume of the mold instead of just what I needed. And then I start to pour the water for that amount. Okay, yeah, this is too much water. So I remeasure everything and start the plaster mixture. But I only have 1 bucket, and as you can see, the plaster is starting to harden.
Oh shit.
It's hard. Here I am again at the store. More buckets and more plaster. Yay, so fun.
That's sick. Look at that.
Take 2. So because the working time is so quick, I measure the plaster in 3 different buckets and use a drill bit mixer so that things go a lot smoother and faster. And you can see that the plaster mixture is a lot smoother in consistency. And so we set the skateboard in and let it do its thing. I'm still not feeling very confident. What were you gonna do, step on here?
Yeah. Oh!
Oh no. Well, it came out.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Do you want to make a small mixture, pour again, and put the skateboard right back over top of it?
Yeah, put pieces, especially like in this part where there's not a lot.
Yeah.
And then...
Yes. Probably very close, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we have a mold. It looks okay, but I just went into the materials lab, and the materials lab doesn't have anything. They have a like a heat gun for acrylic, but nothing for glass. I'm gonna try and see if Ace has like a propane torch that would get hot enough to at least fuse the glass. Again, I don't need it to be in a liquid state, just soft enough that it'll fuse together. I had reached out to some local glass artists here in downtown, or not in downtown, in San Diego, but never heard anything back, so...
Yo, Henry, yeah.
I have 2 options. One, Burnzomatic MAP torch, which will cost me, and from what I've read, even though you're using this higher heat torch, most people are still using a kiln or some type of insulation to help heat the glass. Or I could buy resin, put the glass in it, still kind of gives the look I want. So I have a little bit of thinking to do if I completely change the idea or spend a lot of money for something that may not work. So, I don't think I'll have a board, but at least I've tried. I think my next steps for the future is to try and reach out again to some of the local glass artists, talk to them in person, and I kind of need an expert for this. So that's the end of this video, and maybe there'll be a part 2.